Hello everyone, I'm absolutely thrilled you've picked up Hack Your Mind, Understand Your Two Brains for Smarter Decisions. For years, I've traveled the world, sharing secrets to unlock potential, inspiring people to live their best lives through mastering themselves. I've seen countless individuals, from CEOs to students, fundamentally transform their decision-making and overall well-being by understanding how their minds truly work. And that's exactly what this book is designed to do for you. This isn't just another self-help book filled with empty promises. Think of it as a user manual for your brain. We often act as if our decisions are careful, logical choices, but the truth is, a significant portion of our daily actions are driven by unconscious processes. We have two systems running in our brain, like having two computers working together, or sometimes against each other. Let's call them System 1 and System 2, just to keep things simple. System 1 is quick, intuitive, and emotional. It's your gut feeling, the immediate reaction you have when you see a friend or face a sudden danger. Think about when you instantly know someone is angry just by looking at their face. That's System 1 in action. It's incredibly efficient, allowing us to navigate our lives without having to consciously think about every single little thing. System 2, on the other hand, is slow, deliberate, and logical. It's the part of your brain you use when you're solving a math problem, writing a report, or making a major life decision, like buying a house. This system requires focus and energy. If System 1 is your car's automatic transmission, System 2 is shifting gears yourself. The problem is, System 1 is often in charge, even when it shouldn't be. It's prone to biases, shortcuts, and emotional reasoning. This can lead to poor decisions, misunderstandings, and missed opportunities. How many times have you bought something on impulse and later regretted it? That's System 1 leading you astray. Understanding how these two systems interact is the key to hacking your mind and making smarter, more informed decisions in all aspects of your life. Throughout this book, we'll explore the workings of these two systems in detail. I'll share practical strategies you can use to identify biases, overcome impulsive reactions, and harness the power of System 2 to make better choices. We'll look at real-life examples, relatable scenarios, and actionable techniques that you can start using immediately. What will you gain from reading Hack Your Mind? Well, imagine making better financial decisions, no more impulse buys or falling prey to marketing tricks. Improving your relationships, understanding your own biases and emotional reactions, and those of others, will lead to more empathy and effective communication. Boosting your productivity, learning how to focus your attention and avoid distractions can unlock a whole new level of efficiency. Increasing your overall happiness, by making more conscious and deliberate choices, you'll feel more in control of your life and less at the mercy of your impulses. Becoming a much more effective communicator and persuader, understand how to frame arguments in a way that overcome the other party's inherent biases. This book isn't about changing who you are. It's about understanding how you are, and using that knowledge to become the best version of yourself. This journey is about empowerment. It's about taking charge of your own mind and shaping your own destiny. So, buckle up, get ready to explore the fascinating world of your own brain, and let's start hacking. I am confident that by the end of this book, you'll have the tools and insights you need to navigate life's challenges with greater clarity, confidence, and success. Welcome to the journey. Hello, friends. You may know me from my books and speeches, all focused on unlocking your extraordinary potential. Today, we embark on a journey of self-discovery. Prepare to meet the two key players in your mind, the driver and the navigator. Imagine you're learning to ride a bike. At first, it's all wobbles and near misses. You're concentrating intensely, thinking about every pedal stroke, every handlebar adjustment. That's your navigator hard at work. It's the part of your brain that's deliberate, logical, and slow. It's the planner, the analyzer, the problem solver. The navigator uses effort, and it tires easily. Now, fast forward a few weeks. You're cycling effortlessly, maybe even listening to music, barely giving the act of riding a second thought. That's your driver in action. It's the intuitive, automatic part of your brain. The driver is fast, efficient, and relies on habits and instincts. It's fantastic in familiar situations but struggles with complex decisions. Think about this. You're walking down the street and suddenly a ball rolls out in front of you. Instinctively, you jump back. That's your driver, reacting instantly to potential danger. There's no time for calculations or risk assessments. It's pure, reactive action. The navigator, on the other hand, might be considering which route to take to the grocery store, weighing the pros and cons of different options. It's the voice in your head that says, "Okay, let's analyze this logically." These two systems are constantly interacting, sometimes working in harmony, sometimes clashing. The driver provides gut feelings and quick impressions, while the navigator steps in to analyze, evaluate, and make more informed decisions. Understanding how they both work will empower you to make smarter choices, manage your emotions, build stronger relationships, and ultimately, lead a more fulfilling life. Throughout this book, we'll explore the strengths and weaknesses of each system, and learn how to leverage them for optimal performance. Chapter 2: The Driver, Living in the Moment, and Making Snap Judgments. Hello everyone. Remember, you are capable, you are strong, and you are on a path to becoming the best version of yourself. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of your driver brain. Think of it like this: you're cruising down a familiar road. You don't consciously think about every gear change, every turn of the wheel. That's your driver at work. It's all about speed and efficiency. The driver is always in the present moment. It reacts. It doesn't ponder. It acts based on habit, instinct, and emotion. Imagine you're walking down the street and the dog suddenly barks loudly nearby. Your driver kicks in. You might jump, flinch, or even yell without thinking. That's a snap judgment based on past experience and fear. This system is incredibly useful. Without it, we'd be overwhelmed by every little decision every second of the day. We wouldn't be able to learn to ride a bike or drive a car or catch a ball. The driver handles all those routine tasks, freeing up our navigator for more complex thinking. But here's the catch: because the driver relies on speed and shortcuts, it's prone to biases and making mistakes. Let's say someone is dressed in a sharp suit. Your driver might automatically assume they're successful and trustworthy, even though that may not be true. This is because our driver has learned to associate certain appearances with certain qualities. Or, imagine you hear a rumor about someone. Your driver might accept it as fact without questioning the source. It's efficient, but not always accurate. Understand this: the driver isn't bad. It's a powerful tool that allows us to function in the world. But recognizing its strengths and weaknesses is crucial for making better decisions, understanding our reactions, and, ultimately, living a more balanced life. Chapter 3: The Navigator, Planning, Thinking, and Overthinking. Hello, friends. Remember our two brains, the driver and the navigator. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the navigator. This is the part of you that isn't just reacting. It's contemplating, strategizing, and trying to figure things out. Think of it as the architect of your life. The navigator thrives on logic, reasoning, and complex problem solving. It's the one you call upon when you need to analyze a situation, weigh your options, or make a thoughtful decision. Unlike the quick-thinking driver, the navigator is deliberate. It takes its time, carefully considering all the angles. It's capable of abstract thought, allowing you to imagine possibilities, consider consequences in the long term, and plan for the future. Imagine you're planning a vacation. The driver might impulsively say, "Let's go to the beach." But the navigator steps in, saying, "Okay, but where? What's our budget? What about flights, hotels, and activities?" It considers all the factors, weighs the pros and cons, and creates a detailed itinerary. The navigator is incredibly powerful, but it does have its limitations. Its biggest weakness: cognitive fatigue. Thinking hard is tiring. Ever notice how much harder it is to make good decisions at the end of a long day? That's your navigator running out of steam. It's like a muscle that gets tired after a tough workout. Overthinking is another potential pitfall. When the navigator gets stuck in a loop, endlessly analyzing every possibility, it can lead to procrastination, anxiety, and decision paralysis. It's like spinning your wheels in mud. So, how do we harness the power of the navigator without letting it overwhelm us? We'll explore that throughout this book, but for now, remember that the navigator is your inner architect, capable of building great things, but it needs to be used wisely. Rest and recharge it, use it when it's needed most. Think critically, friends, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Chapter 4, Mental Shortcuts, When Heuristics Help and Hurt. Hello friends. Remember our driver, that quick-thinking part of your brain? It loves shortcuts. These shortcuts are called heuristics. They're like mental rules of thumb, helping us make decisions fast, without getting bogged down in details. Sometimes they're brilliant, saving us time and energy. Other times, well, they lead us astray. Let's look at two common ones. First, the availability heuristic. This means we judge the likelihood of something based on how easily examples come to mind. Think about this. Are you more afraid of flying or driving? Many people fear flying because plane crashes get a lot of media coverage. Those images are easily available in our memory. But statistically, driving is far more dangerous. The availability heuristic tricks us into overestimating risks based on how memorable they are, not how probable. Imagine a person named Alex want to buy a car. Alex recall hearing a lot of news about the unreliability of a model of the car than the news about how the car is reliable. Alex then decide to not to buy the car. Here, too much focus on what one can easily remember lead to bad decision. Second, the representativeness heuristic. This is when we judge something based on how well it matches our existing stereotypes or mental prototypes. Let's take a quick quiz. The person name is John is calm, quiet, loves to read books and spend time alone. Is John farmer or librarian? Most people would immediately say librarian, just because of our image of librarian in our mind. We jump to conclusions based on how well someone or something seems to fit a certain category, ignoring other relevant information. If someone looked like a successful businessman, then we are more likely to buy something from him than from someone who doesn't look like a successful businessman. So, how do we use this information? Be aware. Recognize when your driver is taking a shortcut. Then, engage your navigator. Ask yourself, am I basing this decision on emotions and easily recallable image, or on actual facts? Am I buying into stereotypes, or judging each situation on its own merits? Heuristics aren't inherently bad, they're tools, but like any tool, they need to be used with awareness and care. Understanding these mental shortcuts can help you make more informed, rational decisions, leading to a richer, more successful life. Chapter 5, Framing Reality, How Words Shape Your World. Friends, have you ever noticed how the same news story can feel completely different depending on who's telling it? That's the power of framing. Framing happens when the way information is presented influences your decisions, even if the core facts are exactly the same. It's like putting a beautiful frame around a painting. The frame doesn't change the painting itself, but it changes how you see it. Imagine this. A doctor tells one patient, this surgery has a 90% survival rate. To another, he says, this surgery has a 10% mortality rate. Same surgery, same odds, completely different impact. The word survival evokes hope, while mortality evokes fear. Or picture this scenario. A store advertises ground beef, 80% lean. Another store advertises ground beef, 20% fat. Which one sounds more appealing? Even though they're both saying the same thing, 80% lean just feels better because it focuses on the positive. Framing affects us every day. Consider political debates, advertisements, even conversations with friends. Are we being presented with the whole picture, or just a carefully selected slice designed to influence our thinking? Recognizing framing bias, strategies for navigating a skewed reality. First, ask questions. Don't accept information at face value. What are the actual numbers? What information might be missing? Second, Reframe the information. Think about the opposite way of presenting it. If someone emphasizes what you gain, consider what you might lose, and vice versa. Third, seek multiple perspectives. Don't rely on a single source. Read different news outlets, talk to people with different viewpoints. For example, let's say a company is downsizing. They can either say, "We are laying off 100 employees," which sounds terrible. Or they could say, "We are retaining 900 employees," which sounds better, even though the situation is identical. When you're aware of framing, you regain control. You can make decisions based on facts, not just feelings manipulated by carefully chosen words. You start seeing the world in a clearer, more objective light. And that, my friends, is true empowerment. Chapter 6: The Power of Anchors. Why Numbers Influence Your Choices, even when they shouldn't. Friends, have you ever wondered why a certain price seems normal for something, even when it's not? That's the power of anchoring at play. An anchor is like a mental reference point. It's the first piece of information we receive, and it heavily influences our subsequent judgments, even if that initial information is completely irrelevant. Think about it like this. Let's say you're at a charity auction. The auctioneer starts by suggesting that a painting is worth $5,000. Even if the painting is not worth that much, that number now sits in your mind. When bidding starts, even if the painting finally sells for $2,000, you might think you got a great deal, because you're comparing it to that initial $5,000 anchor. Another example, you walk into a store and see a jacket priced at $150. Next to it is another jacket that looks almost identical, but it's on sale from $200 to $160. Which one seems like a better deal? Many people would choose the second jacket, even though it's more expensive. The original $200 price acts as an anchor, making the sale price seem more appealing. Anchors aren't always monetary. Consider a question like, is the population of Chicago more or less than 10 million? Then, you're asked to estimate the actual population. People who answered, more or less than 10 million inches, tend to give significantly higher estimates compared to those who were asked, is the population of Chicago more or less than 2 million? That initial number, the 10 million or 2 million, acts as an anchor, pulling their estimates up or down accordingly. So, how can we avoid being swayed by anchors? Awareness is key. Recognize that the first number you hear isn't necessarily the true value. Actively seek out alternative information. Don't just rely on the initial anchor. Before making a decision, ask yourself, from where this information comes? And challenge the assumptions behind it. Take your time. Avoid making snap judgments. The navigator part of your brain can kick in by slowing down and really evaluating the information. Think of it like navigating a ship. The anchor keeps the ship steady, but you need to adjust your sails and rudder to reach your destination. Don't let the anchor control your course. Use it as a reference point, then navigate with your own wisdom and careful consideration. By understanding the power of anchors, you can make more informed, and ultimately, better decisions. Chapter 7: Loss Aversion. Why Losing Feels Worse Than Winning Feels Good. Friends, have you ever felt a pang of disappointment so strong it overshadowed a recent victory? That, my friends, is the essence of loss aversion. It's a deeply ingrained psychological principle. Losing something feels significantly worse than gaining that same thing feels good. Imagine this. You're offered two scenarios. First, you find a $50 bill on the street. Second, you lose a $50 bill from your wallet. Which scenario impacts you more? For most people, the sting of losing the $50 outweighs the joy of finding it, even though the monetary value is identical. This isn't about being greedy. It's wired into our brains. The fear of loss often drives our decisions, sometimes irrationally. Think about investments. People often hold on to losing stocks far longer than they should, hoping they'll bounce back, because selling means admitting a loss and confronting that negative feeling. Conversely, they might sell winning stocks too early, fearing those gains will disappear. So, how do we overcome this inherent bias? First, Acknowledge it. Recognizing that loss aversion is influencing your decisions is the first step. Second, reframe the situation. Instead of focusing on what you might lose, consider what you might gain. For example, when considering a new job, don't just dwell on leaving your comfort zone. Focus on the new skills, experiences, and opportunities the new role offers. Third, focus on the long term. Loss aversion often leads to short-sighted decisions. By keeping your long-term goals in mind, you can better tolerate short-term setbacks. Fourth, practice gratitude. Regularly acknowledging what you already have can lessen the sting of potential losses. Remember, friends, understanding loss aversion empowers you to make more rational and balanced decisions. By acknowledging its power and employing these strategies, you can conquer the fear of loss and embrace opportunities with courage and clarity. Chapter 8: Confirmation Bias. Seeking evidence that supports what you already believe. Have you ever noticed how easily you can find articles online that agree with your viewpoint? It's almost like the internet is designed to reinforce what you already think. That's confirmation bias in action. Confirmation bias is our brain's sneaky habit of seeking out and interpreting information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs. We love to be right, so subconsciously, we filter out anything that challenges our worldview. Imagine this. A person believes strongly that eating organic food is vastly superior, despite mixed scientific findings. They'll likely spend hours reading articles praising organic farming, focusing on anecdotal stories and small studies that support their belief. Articles questioning the cost-effectiveness or environmental impact of organic farming. Swiftly dismissed. This isn't just about food. It affects our political views, our relationships, and even our career choices. If we believe a coworker is lazy, we'll notice every instance of them arriving late or taking a long lunch, conveniently ignoring the times they stay late to finish a project. The danger of confirmation bias is that it reinforces wrong ideas. It hinders intellectual growth by preventing us from considering alternative perspectives. If we only listen to opinions that echo our own, we become trapped in an echo chamber, never challenged, never truly understanding the complexities of the world. So, how do we combat this? First, be aware of your own biases. Acknowledge that you might be wrong. Actively seek out dissenting opinions. Read articles that challenge your beliefs. Talk to people who hold different views. It can be uncomfortable, even painful, to confront information that contradicts what we believe. But it's essential for growth. Challenging your own assumptions is the key to making better decisions, building stronger relationships, and living a more open-minded, fulfilling life. Embrace the discomfort, and watch your understanding of the world expand. Chapter 9: Overconfidence, Thinking you know more than you do, and why it matters. Friends, have you ever felt absolutely certain about something, only to discover later you were completely wrong? We all have. This feeling, this unwarranted certainty, is called overconfidence. Overconfidence is the tendency to overestimate our abilities, knowledge, and judgment. It's like wearing rose-tinted glasses that make even the riskiest situations seem manageable. Think about a recent project at work. Did you assume you knew everything necessary to complete it successfully? Did you underestimate the potential challenges or the time required? That's overconfidence at play. Why is overconfidence dangerous? Because it can lead to poor decisions. When we're too confident, we stop looking for potential problems, we ignore advice from others, and we take unnecessary risks. Imagine someone investing all their savings in a single stock, convinced it's a sure thing. That's a recipe for disaster fueled by overconfidence. But here's the good news: we can learn to manage our overconfidence. First, become aware of it. Pay attention to those times when you feel absolutely certain about something. That's often a red flag. Second, actively seek out dissenting opinions. Don't surround yourself with yes people. Ask others for their perspectives and genuinely listen to their concerns. Third, practice humility. Recognize that you don't know everything, and that's okay. Be open to learning and admitting when you're wrong. Fourth, consider the opposite. Before making a decision, ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? And then, explore the possible negative consequences. Cultivating realistic self-assessment is key. It allows us to make better decisions, to learn from our mistakes, and to live a more grounded and successful life. Remember, confidence is good, but informed confidence is far better. Chapter 10: The Crowd's Wisdom and Its Madness, Understanding Group Dynamics. We've all heard the saying, 2 heads are better than 1. But is that always true? Sometimes, a group can be far wiser than any single individual. Other times, groups can make decisions that are downright crazy. Understanding why this happens is key to navigating the world of teams, meetings, and even social media. The magic happens when a group has diverse perspectives and everyone feels safe to share their honest opinions. Imagine a bunch of people guessing the number of candies in a jar. Individually, their guesses might be way off, but when you average them all together, that average is often remarkably close to the actual number. This is the wisdom of the crowd in action. Each person has a little piece of the puzzle, and together, they see the bigger picture. But groups can also fall victim to groupthink. This happens when the desire for harmony and conformity overrides critical thinking. No one wants to rock the boat, so dissenting opinions are silenced, and the group blindly follows the loudest or most influential person. Think about a team project where everyone agrees with the boss even though they have serious doubts. What can we do to harness the wisdom and evade the madness? First, encourage diverse viewpoints. Make sure everyone has a chance to speak. Actively solicit different perspectives, and create an environment where disagreement is seen as helpful, not harmful. Assign someone the role of devil's advocate to challenge assumptions. Second, promote independent thinking. Before discussing as a group, ask everyone to write down their individual thoughts. This stops early influence. Understanding these dynamics empowers to participate effectively in teams. By fostering open communication and valuing diverse perspectives, you can help your groups make wiser, more informed decisions. Remember, the key is to unlock the collective intelligence while guarding against the pitfalls of groupthink. Chapter 11: Emotional Intelligence, Taming Your Driver for Better Relationships. Our brains, as we've seen, have these 2 distinct modes of operation: the driver, quick and emotional, and the navigator, thoughtful and logical. When it comes to relationships, letting the driver steer unchecked can lead to bumpy roads. That's where emotional intelligence, or EQ, comes in. EQ is about understanding and managing your own emotions, and crucially, recognizing and responding to the emotions of others. Imagine this: 2 colleagues, Alex and Ben, are working on a project. Alex, feeling stressed and under pressure, snaps at Ben when Ben asks a simple question. A low EQ response from Ben would be to snap back, escalating the conflict. The driver takes over. "How dare he talk to me like that?" But a high EQ response involves recognizing Alex's behavior stems from stress, not personal animosity. Ben might say, "Hey, you seem stressed. Is everything okay? Can I help?" This demonstrates empathy, a cornerstone of EQ. Empathy isn't just feeling for someone. It's feeling with them, understanding their perspective. It's about putting yourself in their shoes, even if just for a moment. Another key element is self-awareness. Are you good at recognizing your own emotions as they're happening? Do you understand what triggers them? Many of us aren't. We react, and then later wonder why. Practicing mindfulness can help with this, as we'll discuss later. Furthermore, good emotional management doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means recognizing them as they arise, labeling them, and then choosing how to respond. Feeling angry is valid. Yelling at someone is a choice. Think about this. Imagine that a friend forgets your birthday. Your driver might be screaming, "They don't care about me. I'm going to cut them out of my life." The navigator steps back and says, "Wait a minute. Everyone forgets things sometimes. Maybe there's a reason. I should talk to them about it calmly." By practicing emotional intelligence, we build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. We become better communicators, conflict resolvers, and team players. We avoid unnecessary drama and foster environments of trust and understanding. It's not about pleasing everyone all the time, but about navigating the complex world of human interaction with greater awareness and skill. Because in the end, relationships are what truly enrich our lives, and emotional intelligence is the key to unlocking their full potential. Chapter 12: Mindfulness for Better Thinking, Slowing Down to Speed Up. Friends, how often do you feel like you're on autopilot, just reacting to life instead of truly living it? Our fast-paced world encourages us to rush, to multitask, to constantly be on. But this relentless speed can lead to mental clutter, poor decisions, and a general sense of unease. That's where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is simply paying attention to the present moment, without judgment. It's about noticing your thoughts and feelings as they arise, without getting swept away by them. Think of it like this: you're sitting by a river, watching leaves float by. Your thoughts are the leaves. You observe them, but you don't jump in the river and chase after them. Why is this important? Because when we're mindful, we become more aware of our driver, that impulsive, reactive part of our brain. We start to notice its snap judgments and knee-jerk reactions before they lead us down the wrong path. For instance, imagine your colleague, let's call him Mark, sends you a short, potentially curt email. Your driver might immediately jump to conclusions: he's being rude, he disrespects my work. But if you're mindful, you can pause. Take a breath. Observe the feeling of anger or frustration without fueling it. You might then realize that Mark is probably just stressed or busy. Perhaps you then decide to ask him if everything is okay. This simple pause transforms a potential conflict into an opportunity for understanding. Mindfulness isn't about emptying your mind. It's about observing what's already there, with kindness and curiosity. This allows us to interrupt our automatic thought patterns and make more deliberate, considered decisions. Practical mindfulness exercises. The breath awareness exercise. Find a quiet spot. Close your eyes gently. Focus on the sensation of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. When your mind wanders, and it will simply gently redirect your attention back to your breath. Even just 5 minutes of this can make a huge difference. Mindful walking. Pay attention to the physical sensations of walking. Feel your feet making contact with the ground. Notice the movement of your body. Observe the sights, sounds, and smells around you, without getting lost in thought. Body scan meditation. Lie down comfortably. Bring your attention to different parts of your body, starting with your toes and working your way up to your head. Notice any sensations: tingling, warmth, pressure. Simply observe these sensations without judgment. Mindfulness isn't a magic bullet. It takes practice. But with regular effort, you can train your brain to be more present, more aware, and ultimately, more in control. By slowing down, you actually speed up your progress toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single, mindful step. Chapter 13: Rewiring Your Brain, Breaking Bad Habits and Building New Ones. Hey there, champions. Remember, you're not stuck with the habits you have. Your brain is incredibly adaptable, like a muscle you can train. This chapter is about giving you the tools to reshape your brain and build the life you truly want. First, understand how habits form. Think of it like a well-worn path in a forest. The more you walk it, the easier it becomes to follow. Habits are like that. Repeated behaviors create strong neural pathways, making them automatic. So, how do we create a new path? 1. Awareness is key. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Start by paying attention to your bad habit. What triggers it? What emotions are connected to it? Keep a journal to track it down or use the Notes app in your phone. For instance, do you automatically reach for your phone the moment you feel bored? 2. Intention and implementation. Set a clear intention to change. Instead of, I want to stop eating junk food, try, I will eat an apple instead of chips when I feel a craving in the afternoon. Be specific and create an if-then plan. 3. Repetition and replacement. Consistent action is crucial. The more you repeat the new behavior, the stronger the new neural pathway becomes. Replacing the bad habit with a good one is often easier than simply trying to eliminate it. Back to that phone example. When you feel the urge to check social media out of boredom, take 3 deep breaths and focus on your surroundings. 4. Be patient and kind to yourself. Forming the new neuro pathway may take some time. So, if you slip up, don't beat yourself up. It's part of the process. Just get back on track. You are going to get there eventually. Remember, rewiring your brain is a journey, not a destination. Celebrate small victories, stay consistent, and believe in your ability to change. You've got this. Chapter 14. Making Smarter Financial Decisions, Hacking Your Money Mind. Friends, let's talk about money. Not just about earning it, but about keeping it and making it work for you. Our brains, those wonderful, complex things, often lead us astray when it comes to finances. We're going to learn how to outsmart our own money mind. First, acknowledge the biases. Remember loss aversion. Losing $10 feels much worse than gaining $10 feels good. This can lead to bad decisions, like holding on to losing investments hoping they'll bounce back, instead of cutting your losses and reinvesting elsewhere. Let's consider an example. Imagine a friend, let's call him Alex, inherited some money. He's tempted to invest it all in a single company because his uncle used to work there and always spoke highly of it. This combines several biases: anchoring, his uncle's positive view, and confirmation bias, seeking information that confirms his pre-existing belief. The smarter decision: diversify. Spread your investments across different sectors. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, even if that basket seems really appealing because of an old memory. Another common error is mental accounting. We treat money differently depending on where it comes from. A bonus at work might feel like free money, tempting you to splurge on something unnecessary, while money from your regular paycheck is treated more carefully. Challenge that thinking. Every dollar is a dollar. Before spending that free money, ask yourself, would I spend this amount from my regular paycheck on the same thing? If not, rethink your decision. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers to a savings account or investment account each month. This removes the emotional component. You're less likely to skip saving if it happens automatically before you even see the money. Pay yourself first. Finally, be aware of the sunk cost fallacy. Just because you've already invested time or money in something doesn't mean you should keep throwing good money after bad. If a project or investment is consistently underperforming, it's okay, even necessary, to cut your losses and move on. Don't cling to a bad decision simply because you've already invested in it. Remember, financial intelligence isn't about being a math genius. It's about understanding how your mind works and making choices that align with your long-term goals. By acknowledging our biases and implementing simple strategies, we can all become smarter with our money. Chapter 15: The Art of Balanced Thinking. Integrating your two brains for a better life. You've journeyed far, friend. We've explored the fascinating landscape of your mind, meeting your two key players, the driver and the navigator. Remember, the driver, that quick-thinking improviser, excels in the heat of the moment. And the navigator, the thoughtful planner, maps out the bigger picture. The true power lies not in silencing one over the other, but in orchestrating a harmonious collaboration. Think of it like this: the driver is the improvisational jazz musician, riffing off the immediate feeling. The navigator is the composer, creating the overarching melody and structure. So, how do we bring these two together in daily life? It begins with awareness. Recognize when your driver is taking the wheel impulsively. Are you reacting emotionally instead of responding thoughtfully? That's a cue to engage your navigator. Breathe deeply, and consciously shift your focus. Ask yourself, what are the long-term consequences of this action? What are the alternative perspectives? Conversely, don't let your navigator bog you down in analysis paralysis. Some situations demand quick action. Trust your gut, the accumulated wisdom of your driver, when decisive action is paramount. Practice makes perfect. Start with small decisions. Before buying that tempting item online, pause. Is it a genuine need, or an impulsive whim? Before reacting to an email that sets you off, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what does my navigator suggest here? Integrate mindfulness into your routine. Even a few minutes of daily meditation can quiet the mental chatter and allow you to observe your thoughts without judgment. This clarity is vital for both the driver and navigator to function optimally. Understand that setbacks are inevitable. You'll sometimes make impulsive choices you regret, or overthink decisions that paralyze you. Don't beat yourself up. Learn from those experiences. Adjust your approach. The goal is progress, not perfection. By embracing both your driver and navigator, you unlock a more nuanced, balanced, and ultimately more fulfilling life. You'll navigate challenges with greater ease, build stronger relationships, and achieve your goals with unwavering determination. Go forth and orchestrate the symphony of your mind.